Our first guest is new City Councillor Mona Patel. She finished 7th out of 26 candidates for City Council. Quite the accomplishment for her first time running, knocking off a couple of incumbents as well. Mona, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
How did it feel on election night to know that you were going to realize your goal?
Actually, election night, it's a funny story. It didn't sink in on election night. I wasn't watching the poll results during the election to keep my nerves calm.
Were you at home with your family
we were
that
at
night?
the Boston Pizza on Lundy's Lane.
Okay.
Me and my team gathered there to watch the results because we worked very hard, so we were going to celebrate the election night. And to keep my nerves calm, I wasn't looking at the results. And I'm like, okay, I need to get out of here because everybody's on their phone. Nobody's there talking to me. So I go down, and the Boston Pizza washroom is downstairs. So I go downstairs. I'm like, okay, I got to take a break. I go to the washroom. And I come upstairs. As soon as I walk in, they're like, you won. I'm like, what? They're like, you won. And everybody's hugging, they're cheering, they're laughing. And it's like, okay, I won. It's like, it was just some alien feeling that I just couldn't take it in that one. And
Sunk in the next day?
Nope, it took me a while actually. Because even our party was done, and that night they were having big gathering at the Sikh temple right across the Boston Pizza on Lundy's Lane.
Right.
So the leader from the Sikh temple were there watching results with us. So as the results came, like, oh, you have to come to the temple, get the blessing. So I go with them, get the blessing, come back, and wish everybody farewell. Then we went to Mayor Diodati's party to congratulate him, where I saw all the other candidates, and we all wished each other well. And on the way home, on a Lundy's Lane, we're driving along, me and my husband in the car. I'm like, someone kicked my sign down. And my husband's like, who cares? You won.
You bring up a point. That's one of the first orders of business after the election, right? You've got to get out there with your team and collect those signs.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. The next morning, people kept on calling, even congratulating me, and then they're like,
when are you sign?
When are you coming to pick up the sign? So next 2 days, we have about 48 hours to pick up the signs. So me and my husband worked, and few other people on our team, about 8 to 10 hours for the next 2 days, taking all the signs.
What was it like knocking on doors across the city of Niagara Falls?
Actually, it was amazing, actually. It was good and bad because there were some days we had such a great reception. We were all happy, my whole team, that, look, let's keep going even if it's dark. And they're like, oh, Mona, you're going to win. You're going to win. And there's some neighborhood where we didn't have such a great reception. And after an hour, people be like, oh, we don't want to knock doors anymore because, it's not such a great reception.
Now you've had one inaugural council meeting, and you've taken the oath. What's it feel like? It's real now, right?
It's real. Actually, for me, on an inaugural night, when we were walking behind the pipe major, walked in the hall, everybody's standing, and when I got on the stage, and when I looked at my friends and family sitting in the front row, when I saw on their face, they were all emotional. My daughters were tearing up. My husband was so proud. And that's when it sunk in. It's like, oh, we actually won. I did it.
Your platform on your website had 4 pillars. Housing affordability was one of them, economic recovery. You also mentioned education and learning and community safety. So what are your goals for these next 4 years?
Oh, I would like to touch on all 4 of those issues. And I think housing affordability, I think provincial government has addressed that issue in some way. And economic development, I think, as I said, get settled in, I'm learning step by step, and city staff has been amazing. And I have some ideas, and I think we have to sit on the table and discuss those.
During the campaign, I know in the mayor's race, the other 6 candidates, a lot of what they talked about was tourism versus local residents. And is the city doing enough for local residents? How will you try to address that?
It's actually a very tough question. I would like to see balance, but I was complaining even before I became a city councillor. But once I am city councillor, when I'm looking at what happens behind the doors, looking how the cities run, I think we are in pretty good position because we live in Niagara Falls. We like it or not, we are #1 tourist destination in the world. And tourism does employ 40,000 of our neighbors.
It's important to look at that aspect. It's important to look at
that aspect. Yes, we do. And lots of people do not understand, do not know that. But OLG money, they're the one who's subsidizing our taxes. Because if you look at our property taxes, we are lower than any other municipalities in Niagara region.
You're one of few women on council. We heard during the municipal campaign, the provincial, and also the federal campaign, the struggles that a lot of women still face in politics. And a lot of it comes down to harassment online, where it's easy to do. Have you experienced any of that?
Yes, I have. Harassment gets pretty bad. Actually, they go after the way you look, to what you have accomplished, to even your kids. It does get very nasty.
Some women locally decided not to rerun because of that. In 4 years, are you committed that that is something that you want to do, run again for another term?
First step at a time. Let's finish this term first, then ask me in 3 years. I will know the answer in 3 years.
What was it like to take the oath?
I was very emotional when I took an oath, but taking an oath was like, I think it felt very heavy. I felt the weight when I took the oath. It's like, you're running for election, you won, but when I took the oath, that's when I realized, you know what? Everybody has expectation, and I do not want to disappoint anyone. It's very heavy feeling.
Mona, you have a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old daughter. Are you standing as a bit of an example for them on what they can accomplish as young women as well?
Yes, I am. My daughters are very proud of me. And I think hopefully I would be the example for lots of little girls and lots of immigrant community who are coming here from other countries.
Do you look at yourself as an example for not just your daughters, but other women and other people from immigrant communities?
Yes, I do. Lots of women have reached out to me. Even during election, there were so many women coming forward. I didn't know them, but they were like, Mona, we are voting for you. We love you. We are voting for you.
Mona, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you over the next 4 years.
Thank you very much for having me. It was my pleasure.